Yes, yes. Okay, so today, this is my last video for philosophy this term. Sad. Anyways, welcome to Theodicy. So Theodicy came from the Greek word theos and dike. Theos which means God and dike which means right. So right usage or manner. So it's the manner of how we reason out God. So ang theodicy, its main argument is God exists. Yun lang, God exists. Kasi, um, nandito yung sa notes ko. God exists, and God's essence and nature is its very existence. So, nag-exist, essence pa lang si God, yun na yung existence. Iniisip pa lang natin si God, yun na yung existence. So, yun na agad. And when we think of God, that is really the existence of God. So, it's never known by intuition, pero meron tayong scientific demonstration, which we will discuss right now. So, one of the first three arguments we were going to talk today is the ontological argument. The ontological argument was by Saint Anselm. Basically, yung argument construct niya is God is the most perfect being. The most perfect being cannot lack. If God did not exist, then he would lack existence. Therefore, he must exist. So, siya na nga yung most perfect being. Siya na, and the most perfect being, since perfect na siya, wala na siyang kailangan pa. Well, hindi na siya pwede magkulang. So, if God would not exist, he would lack existence. And that's what he needs, existence. Kasi nga, if God would not exist, and that would mean he would lack existence, ngayon, hindi na siya magiging most perfect being. So, he must exist in order to become the most perfect being. Yes? So, the greatest being, sabi ni Saint Anselm, can only be thought of in the mind. But this can be imperfect. God, when we think of Him in the mind, must exist in reality to become the most perfect being. Kasi lahat ng mga pinakamaganda, pinaka-perfect na bagay ay pinakamaganda kapag existing, kapag totoo siya. So, it must exist both in the mind and reality. And that is when we can believe that God is the most perfect being conceivable. Okay? So, when we think of God as the most perfect being conceivable, with hindi lang natin iniisip yung existence niya. We think that He is real because He is the most perfect being that we can ever conceive in our mind. So, the idea of God, daw, is a deconstruction of reality that it might not exist. Pero, when we think of it, in a way, He must exist in reality in order to become the most perfect. In order for our argument of God being the most perfect being, na hindi dapat siya fallacious. So, in summary sa ontological argument, God exists because He exists in our minds and in reality, and He is the most perfect being conceivable. Therefore, dapat hindi siya mag-lack ng existence kasi the most perfect being cannot lack anything. Next, the ontological argument by Immanuel Kant. Sinasabi ni Immanuel Kant that God ensures morality must be attained and you must do good because of a goal. And this goal is God. This goal, this standard is God. Kasi nga, deon, from the deontological argument, means duty. And morality is doing what is due. And it is dictated by own reason. Pero our own reason is flawed. Therefore, meron tayong standard na sinusunod, and that standard is God. That standard, yung tinatawag natin summum boni, standard, that is something higher. A higher being, a higher form. This is a duty as well as a reward. Parang sinasabi dito na um, God is the standard for all perfection, and God exists because morality exists. Kasi nga, God ensures morality must be attained. God ensures that harmony, morality is attained. Um, therefore, we must be good because of a goal. And yung goal natin si God. And that standard, God sets that standard because God set that standard because He is perfect. He is the higher being. He is the higher good. And now, God must exist because morality exists. A standard of morality exists. Kasi mawawalan tayo ng standard of morality kapag wala si God. Kasi wala tayong standard na sinusunod. Okay, ganun lang naman siya. Next, the 5 ways of St. Thomas Aquinas. So, the 5 ways of St. Thomas Aquinas, argument from motion, there's a first mover who moved everything. Parang there's a first mover who moved everything to change. Pero that first mover cannot be changed himself. Kasi, hindi siya pwedeng magbago. Kasi nga, perfect na siya. And the first mover, ayun, the first mover, wait. The first mover is unmoved kasi nawawala ako. The first mover is unmoved kasi he must be a pure act. And wala dapat siyang potentiality. Dapat pure act lang siya, wala siyang potentiality to change, to move. So, ayun. Next is the argument from causality, the first cause who caused everything. So, but there must be a being that caused everything. Kasi nga, meron tayong principle of cause and effect. And effect. When you cause something, it has an effect. So, meron, the first cause itself must be uncaused. Kasi God is a perfect being. And the perfect being, and that perfect being, is the first cause that started the change of this cause and effect na nangyayari sa atin. So, may ginos si God, that is our creation, the creation story, and nag-branch out ito sa mga effects na, kunwari, sanapin niya, let there be light. Yung effect niya, there was light. Di ba? So, ayun lang naman siya. Argument from necessity, this necessary being must exist. So, a necessary being always existed from the beginning of time, always will exist, and cannot exist. Kasi, kapag wala yung necessary being, mawawala lahat ng being sa mundo. Ganun lang naman. Ayun. Tapos, argument from perfection, there is something where something must be, where everything else is measured. Dapat meron tayo pinnacle or model of perfection na sinusunod. So God, sabi, is the pinnacle of perfection. Kasi nga, sinasabi dito that there is a hierarchical relationship between all things. And innate na yung relationship niya. Innate na yung hierarchical relationship dito. So, mayroong mas mataas, may mas mababa. So, yung pinakamataas natin dun is God. So, that is the argument for perfection. Siya yung most perfect being. So, ang sinasabi dito, a perfect mind is the source of any idea of perfection. Wala tayong idea of perfection kung wala tayong perfection itself. So, that perfection must be God, which everything else is measured. Yung standard natin. Perfection. Design. Okay. Argument from design. So, pag samasamahin natin yung arguments natin, argument from motion, causality, necessity, perfection. Since there is a first cause, the first motion, the first movement that moves everything, therefore, that movement had a cause. That movement became of the cause of everything. And the cause of everything made a being necessary necessary for existence in order for everything to be caused. And when everything is and the necessary being must be perfect in order to cause everything and to move everything. And that perfect being is the designer of the universe. So that is the argument from design. The argument from design states that natural beings lack harmony and the universe must have balance. So the universe must be designed to have balance in everything. So yung sinatawag natin na a priori and a posteriori. A priori is natural things operate and everything acts for an end. Yun na yung purpose natin sa buhay, yung a priori. Yung a posteriori naman, natural beings act the same way to attain what is best for them. So this is the result of intention by the designer. So, hindi siya likely na man-design by chance. Kasi lahat tayo gumagalaw for a purpose. Lahat tayo may purpose sa mundo na binigay sa atin ng universal designer. So, next, attributes of God. So, ang attributes of God natin, simplicity, infinity, immutability, eternity, volition. So, yung simplicity, this is, sinasabi dito na God must be one. As in, one. Isang entity lang siya. Wala siyang parts. Hindi dapat siya mag-divide into parts. One part only lang siya. Kasi, he must be potentially indivisible in order for him not to be limited. Kasi lahat tayo, as human beings, we're limited. Kasi we are only composed of parts. Kasi yun, sinasabi ni Plato, the body is the prison of the soul. So God must not have a body, must be potentially indivisible. Yes, very good. in order to be the most perfect being. And God is absolutely simple, devoid of parts. Para siya yung perfect being. Infinity is, yes, Lauren, without bounds or limit. Ito yung all attributes of God are infinite. Lahat ng attributes niya, He is infinitely good, infinitely, basta infinite. Anyways, infinite, He is, He exists without limitation. This is called actual infinity. Actual infinity, sinasabi niya na reality exists without any sort of limitation. So, walang limitation si God. He is only a pure act. He is only a pure act and does have any potentiality. Wala siyang potentiality to change. Wala siyang potentiality to move things, to change and to move for the better. So, pure act lang siya kasi perfect na siya. So, perfection nga, sinasabi dito is, a being is perfect when it possesses all realities that it is supposed to have. So, He is infinitely good. He must be He must be omnipotent. So, God is a perfect being kasi lahat ng mga realities na dapat magkaroon sa isang God ay nandun sa Kanya. Okay? So, immutability is the capacity or the capability to change. Ayan, sinasabi yung capacity or capability to change. This is, joke lang. Mutability pala. Joke lang. Erase. God has no capacity or no immutability. Wala siyang capacity to change because He is a pure act. So, He is perfect in every sense and dapat hindi na siya mag-change. Kasi kung change pa siya, magiging imperfect siya. Magkakaroon siya ng potentiality. So, hindi pwede yun. Okay? And he cannot lose any reality. He cannot lose any reality. Kasi when, when you change, you lose a reality. And, and losing any reality. Um, okay, start over. Wait. I did this. God can... Sige. God cannot lose any reality kasi He is a necessary being. So it is necessary, um, He is necessary to not lose any sort of reality kasi nga perfect na siya. And as a necessary being, He must exist um, fully. He must exist fully and not lose any sort of reality. And he cannot say that he created himself kasi nga, he existed from the beginning of time and it is necessary that he existed. So, hindi pwedeng he created himself. So, okay. Kasi, when he created himself, ibig sabihin, nag-change siya. So hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na God created himself. Kasi, he is existing ever since the beginning of time. It is necessary for Him to exist. Eternity naman is the duration of existence. And His duration of existence is infinite. As God is the Alpha and the Omega, is the beginning. Beginning. Is the beginning and the end. So He is permanent in existence. His existence is divine because He is necessary, infinite, and immovable. And infinite and immutable. Hindi siya nag-change. So, yung existence niya dapat, hindi rin nag-change. Volition naman, our last attribute. Our last attribute is will. Whoa, let there be light. There's God. Okay. So, volition naman is the will of a certain person. Now, God's will is God Himself. He wills Himself. Okay? Okay, so, kung hindi nyo nagigets yun, i-explain ko. So, will is imperfection of knowledge implied in His... Wait, joke. His will is infinitely perfect. Infinitely perfect kasi He is God and He is infinite. So His will must be infinitely perfect. It must be necessary, essentially well-ordered. Kasi yung will ni God is spiral and linear. So kung ano yung will natin, bumabalik lagi kay God. Tapos bumabalik din siya sa atin. It's giving back to Him. God wills or loves Himself because He is perfect. Okay? So, wini-will niya yung sarili na to exist. It is His will to exist. It is His will to be God. So, God's will is essentially God Himself. Yes. So, it is infinite in perfection. It follows from infinity in perfection. Kasi nga, infinite yung will niya. And it is infinitely perfect. Yung will na inaano niya, na pino-follow niya. So, His will that He is following and His purpose in life is essentially Himself. So, His purpose is for Himself. It's His purpose. Joke. His will also is absolutely simple. It is individual and because He is a pure act. And His will is self-subsistent. Meaning, God sustains Himself. Hindi na kailangan ng pagkain. Kasi hindi na kailangan, He is self-subsistent. He can live by Himself. So that is His will. That is His will. So, let us connect that to the existence of Jesus. The attributes of God are outside the visible world. So, hindi natin siya nakikita. But what we know is, Jesus is the physical representation of God. Okay? Jesus is man, and he is the physical representation. Kasi, actually, may explain siya ng hylomorphism. Kasi the hylomorphism is bond between the body and the soul. So this is when the body and the soul are physically bonded. So the soul is a perfect being, that is God. The soul is a perfect being, and the body is a physical being. Now, nung namatay si Jesus sa cross, he had... Nagulat siya. Nung namatay si Jesus sa cross, it became the ultimate fulfillment of his duty to become God. Jesus. Jesus human. Jesus. Jesus is human, but his soul is God. So his soul is not in a physical body. Nung namatay si Jesus, his soul was freed from his body. Therefore, naging perfect being na siya. Okay? So metaphysically, he is God, but Jesus is physically man. So when he died on the cross, he became God. Okay? Kasi his body was freed from the prison of the soul, as Plato said. Okay? So in summary, crash course ng buong philosophy. In summary, freedom. Okay, mag-crash course tayo ng buong philosophy. Sasama na natin ito. Freedom is innate within us. And freedom is innate within us. It is the natural freedom which has been refuted by by many arguments. Pero in essence, libertarianism dictates na we are free because we have free will. And social freedom, we also have social freedom when we exist in a certain society. So yung society natin na yun, it limits us by social contracts and the Leviathan to limit our certain social freedoms in order for us to focus on to follow the ideas of the government. So essentially, as persons, we are free. We are free. Yes. Essentially, as persons, we are free. And because we have free will, we are free to think, we are free to learn. Doon na pumapasok yung logic. As human beings, we have the capacity to be free, to have free will, to think freely. And that papasok doon yung logic kasi as humans, we think and we organize our thoughts into arguments na tinitingnan natin kung valid siya o hindi. Kung invalid naman siya, and magiging fallacious yung argument mo. Now, these arguments, this logic justifies and constructs the arguments of Theodicy, which explains the existence of God. And when we know that God exists, now we know our purpose in life kasi meron na tayong standard that we can look up to. And when we know our purpose in life, we can transcend our limitations as humans. And we become not only just humans, but humans with a purpose to transcend ourselves through God. Yep. Okay. When we transcend our limitations, we become aware of our purpose. And our purpose now is to become authentic beings in the world. Okay? When we become authentic and as beings in the world, we are in constant hinahanap natin yung purpose natin palagi. And metaphysically, as human beings, we have a soul, and that soul is in a constant search for existence, a constant search for meaning. Metaphysically, we want to be perfect, and we want to be one true good. We want to be We want to be beautiful, we want to be perfect. And we can know all of this through metaphysics. And metaphysically as we are human, we are in a constant search for the truth, which we can find through the means of experiences and reason. When we combine these experiences and reason, we now learn how to philosophize. Yep. When we learn how to philosophize, crash course na po video. When we learn how to philosophize, we now imbibe the works of Socrates, Aristotle, Plato. And when we imbibe the works of Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato, we essentially have this love for knowledge. And that is what philosophy is all about. Philosophy, the importance of philosophy is the love of knowledge and the love of knowledge, since philia is love and sophia is knowledge. So, in essence, philosophy is important because it allows us to love knowledge, and it allows us to seek the truth and our purpose as human beings. So that concludes philosophy and Theodicy. See you next sem. If ever. Yes. Bye-bye.
Yes, ako na.